Where people start believing again.
What's that?
Where people start believing again. Hello, everybody. How is everyone? Coming to you live from the communist country of Canada, where the police tell you in Canada, if somebody's breaking into your home at 3 a.m, do not resist. Give them all your belongings and allow them to kill you. Where in Canada, they say it's okay to peacefully protest if you're pro-Muslim, pro-Israel, pro-genocide, pro-LGBTQ, but if you're conservative, we'll lock you up for 7 years on a misdemeanor charge. Where in Canada, you can't own a firearm because they're coming for your guns, America and Canada. Hi, Chris. Where in Canada, you can't own a bulletproof vest. Now, how is that a problem? Where in Canada, you have the Communist Party of China gobbling up the land, enslaving citizens, and having police stations in Canada with the Communist Party of China. And the police and the government is committing murder, sedition, treason, and genocide on its own people. In Canada, where you need a marriage license, fishing license, driver's license, marriage license, pretty much a license for everything, business license. 5 years ago, prior to World Economic Forum taking over and starting their genocide program, you would have an environmental impact study, you would get building permits, and probably within 5 months, you'd start building your project. Now, it could take up to 10 years. Where in Canada, our elections were stolen. They were elections in the olden days, and now they're called selections. The election was stolen. Pierre Poilievre, the opposition of the Liberal Party, had so many ballots that were added into his riding, and his riding changed the parameters of that riding so swiftly before the election that it is just 100% illegal. So that's the Canada I know and now live in. It's not the Canada I grew up in, but that's the Canada we exist in now. We have hundreds, if not thousands, of Freemason lodges here in Canada. The chat is one person in the chat and one thumbs up. That must be you, Chris. Now, you see, this is a typical Todd Rushton video. Now, if I were to turn on my phone, and this was through my phone, it would be a different story. Because what I noticed is when I used my phone, I happen to have thousands of views or hundreds of people joining in the chat. So I'm obviously infiltrated by a bunch of bots and trolls. And so how sad is that? That I would witness the day in which we are so heavily bombarded with fake everything that we would have to not rely on anything on the internet. There's just no truth on the internet anymore. And so, yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. And so I'm going to watch the phone and see if anybody else joins. But you go from a channel of 1,000 to like 7,000, and 80% of it's trolls or bots. I don't know. Just don't know anymore. So it's nice to see you, Chris. I hope you are well. We've had a lot of strange stuff here in Canada. We've had phosphorus and other chemicals dropped in all of these forest fires in New Brunswick. and Newfoundland, told we can't go hiking or biking or fishing, kept completely out of the forest. So this is pre 15-minute cities and enslavement in Canada. So the news lately, hi Mike, first in 5 minutes, hey, shalom, Shabbat shalom. Yeah. Oh, that's where you live, Chris? Oh, awesome. So they got a franchise here in Canada. It's called Booster Juice. And, you go in there for a fruit shake and maybe they sell some cookies, but it's just tiny little kiosks. And the government of Canada is subsidizing wages. So to give you some example, if you're an immigrant and you come to Canada, your wage is subsidized and you can make up to $35 an hour in some fast food restaurant chain. But they insist on hiring immigrants only. And somehow this is legal, that you get to discriminate against your own people here in Canada and say, we want to hire immigrants because the government subsidizes your wage and you're paying some person who just came to your country $35 an hour to make you a fruit shake. And there's vets in the street sleeping. There's homeless everywhere, encampments everywhere. And the price of inflation and the cost of fuel and insurance is off the charts. So the insurance companies and the banks are one. And what they're going to do is make insurance so expensive for your vehicle and your home that you will own nothing and be happy. So we see the game plan of the enemy. We know that we're in the end times. We know that they're going ahead with the building of the third temple. We know that they've committed murder, sedition, treason, and genocide, literally genocide, not only in Gaza, where I could show you pictures of Gaza utterly decimated. And Donald Trump, the man of perdition, saying, oh, we'll just remove them, we'll replace them, we'll put them into a nice little cozy area, and we'll give them homes and access to medical supplies. Maybe they don't want to leave their homeland. Maybe they don't like to be murdered by the Zionists, the ones who say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. So Larry Fink apparently is going to be the CEO of World Economic Forum. If that isn't enough heads up for the rest of the Zionists or Jews or the ones who say they are Jews or the Hebrews, this all ends when we all stand up. There's two encampments when it end times eschatology. People believe in fact and in intellectual dialogue and scripture and the interpretation thereof. And there's others that believe in fiction that think this is all going to go away, that somehow this is all going to get better, that Donald Trump's here to save you. After seeing pictures of Donald Trump, Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO of Google, and all of these other monsters, Peloton or whatever, I'm probably mispronouncing that, Peloton or Paladin or whatever, these high-tech CEO oligarchs that want to control your every breath, every move you make. And they're instilling this technology to completely enslave humanity. People are waking up, but it's still slow. It's been 5 years fighting this battle from my little living room in my little home. Brutally attacked, infiltrated. The Bolsheviks love to infiltrate these groups, me in particular. I don't know what they got about me, but maybe it's my hair. Maybe it's my Robert Downey Jr. look. I'm not quite sure. Chris beat you to it, you betcha. Backup, 52 subs. Yeah, I didn't know this, but I went on my backup. And so the backup is just a test ride because I wanted people to kind of just hear a fresh start from my loyal subscribers. It's nice to meet and greet and talk to real people. I get as much out of talking to my brothers and sisters all over the world And I need that interaction as well. I don't mind saying that. I love my brothers and sisters all over the world that are awake, not awoke. I love those people that understand what's going on in the world and see what's going on and want to make a change. So I just wanted to show you quickly here. Sharon's drying out calendula. So you probably have a hard time seeing that because of the glare. But so we take the flowers and we dry them on a paper towel, and then we'll make a salve and maybe some tea with that. So I wanted to promote Dr. Stephen Pidgeon's affiliation with Eating Wild Locusts and Honey YouTube channel. He had invited John Truth on. He's from South Africa. And the last video they did was quite beautiful because it talks about how people are misinterpreting the word, the pronunciation, and the true Messiah. I noticed something about the I Pet Goat video too, is that Jesus character riding on Anubis, the boat that crosses the Euphrates, going from death to life. In that I Pet Goat video, that the number of cubes in there was 9, and then it had 2 11s. So the 9/11 is definitely most likely the birth date or death date of the true Messiah. Furthermore, when you look at the video where it says Psalms 92 written on the wall, if you put that in half, if you just cut the bottom half out, it spells Donald. We know that Donald Trump has been a big disappointment to many of the people wearing red hats. That Donald Trump was supposedly there to save America with the Q PSYOP, trust the plan, you're eating popcorn. So I went directly to his Truth social media, right to his page, and I basically said, you know, you're a Freemason Jesuit politician creating murder, sedition, treason, and genocide. And I think if everybody bombarded these channels and spoke openly and honestly to these people directly, that we would have an effect on their psyche. You see, they still want to walk amongst us and breathe our air and eat our food and kill us at the same time. And one of the Q PSYOP quotes was saying, you know, symbolism will be their downfall. And, you know, soon they won't be able to walk on the face of the earth without being hunted down. Well, I believe that to be true. In my visions, in my dreams, in my understanding of what I see happening, it's going to be hell on earth, and it's going to be the evil ones who kill the evil ones. The ones that have no Ruach HaKodesh, no spirit of Yahweh. Sharon, got some little critters coming out and Ollie looking. So we got some baby cats coming to explore. And so anyway, I'm just here to spread the gospel and talk a bit about the truth of nobody's coming to save us. Nobody's coming to save us. It's going to be as prophesied when people start waking up and realize that all of the governments of the world decided, and you could read Albert Pike's letters, decided to depopulate the planet, and they're all in on it. I think that the people that have guns, the people that have weapons in all countries, they're just going to wake up one day and they're going to lose it. And they're going to turn on each other, just like Albert Pike's letters, Christian against Muslim, gay against straight, employer against employee. The monarchies of the world would collapse. They'd all run in their bunkers, and there would be civil unrest in all countries. I've said this before, that they're going to create an environment in which it'll be hard to buy food, hard to insure your vehicle, hard to put fuel in your vehicle, hard to travel, because they'll just make it impossible. They're going to make it impossible to travel. They'll just make up a new law, a new edict saying, you know, it's bad for the environment, or it's unsafe, or whatever, and they'll continue using weather as a weapon. They'll continue spraying our air. They'll continue poisoning our children and our minds of our brothers and sisters using this technology. March of next year, they're going to implement this massive censorship that's already in Canada. And so there's really no positive way or positive spin on this. If you're in faith and in love and in truth and in eschatology, I would encourage all of those people that understand things. There's a big argument about the book of Revelation, and that the timeline's not right because it seems like they're bringing about the Armageddon in the Valley of Armageddon and all countries coming against Israel because, well, they run the world and they're murdering everybody. And that the Gog and Magog wars is before us. Now, if that is the case, then the millennial reign has happened. And there's great evidence for both arguments. And I don't care what people's beliefs are. It's just truth. The Tartarian Empire and the high-tech society that we think we know and understand hasn't been quantified yet. And our world hasn't been figured out yet. And our oceans are not figured out yet. So there's a lot of ignorance in this truth-seeking community. And nobody seems to want to help each other. It's sad. I've reached out to many different people and offered to create dialogues and share viewers and opinions and evidence. But everybody seems to be separated in their own opinions and dogma and eschatology. And this too was prophesied. The narrow path that we walk on as individuals is just that. It's a narrow pathway, and it's coming to a close. It'll happen. When we look at what's coming, for most people who do not walk in faith, and Mike, I'm pretty sure, and Chris, you know this, it's pretty tough to witness. It's pretty excruciating to watch. Some people would feel helpless and demoralized. And I don't blame anybody if you feel that way, but we must endure. We're witnessing the darkest time in human history unfold before us, and I believe that we are at the end of all things. All flesh shall be corrupted if time was not cut short. When they planted the flag on Mount Hermon, I don't believe people understand the significance of that, but that is part of the Hura Babylon, who sits where they had crucified him and will be utterly destroyed, is before us. People argue about the book of Revelation, saying, well, this has to happen and that has to happen and this has to happen. Well, let me just do a checklist here. The one world government, one world religion, one world currency, done. You cannot buy, sell, and trade without the mark of the beast. Done. Well, it has to be a digital mark. It has to be a metaphorical mark. It's here. It's happening. It's right before you. These cryptocurrencies and blockchain technologies and this surveillance systems that are coming online are so profound. To give you some idea, that they could have a glass of water in front of you, and the vibrations in that water alone, they could quantify what you're saying in a room without microphones. All of these technologies, all of them, they're all bugged. There's complete surveillance, and they don't need a search warrant. They don't want a search warrant. These corporations are doing this, and they're doing it to Mossad and to Homeland Security and CSIS and FBI, CIA, NSA, call them what you want. They're all doing it, and they don't need a search warrant. They don't need a judge's permission. There is no justice in these systems anymore. This has all been completely corrupted and infiltrated, and there's nowhere else to go but the pulling of the plug. There's only one thing left to do, and that is to pull the plug, literally. Yeah. It is controlled lawlessness at present, absolutely. And it's controlled to quantify the reactionary time of certain scenarios. You see, when you're putting decoys up, you want to see who shoots, who acts, who is volatile and reactionary to those decoys. They're not going to put $1 million planes in certain areas and park politicians in certain public areas without testing the reactionary time and response time of the enemy, which is humanity, basically. So when they put up this fake Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, CEO of Google, all in one room and hang out and have dinner and say, oh, we're awesome. When you have Donald Trump saying, we've got to control this, we got to get more people doing this, and, giving people the freedom to do this, well, that's wrong. It's reactionary. So they're hate baiting, race baiting stuff on the internet, and then they're seeing how people react with that. And part of the Project Looking Glass scenario is that they're going to continue to do this to quantify when and how they're going to strike. And when they do strike, it'll be another bioweapon that they used the first time. It'll be another cyber warfare and killing of the power. And the new technology that comes online is already set up as well. So if you do some research, you realize that CIA, NSA, FBI, all of these three-letter agencies have tons of computer power and AI calculators out there that are secure locations that will have their own power sources and stuff. So this technology is crunching numbers beyond our comprehension and are interacting with humanity every second, every minute, every hour. And as terrifying as that is for those that get the gravity of the situation, even AI, I'm pretty sure, is scared. You have to understand when artificial intelligence can quantify the volatility of humanity, it most likely would choose to destroy humanity too. It's just the way it is. You have to understand that it wouldn't take long for AI to look back into the history of man and realize we've done nothing but murder each other, enslave each other, poison each other, kill each other, control each other, since and for as long as we've been writing. So that's not going to change. So on this Sabbath, I hope that you would be blessed and cursed with this knowledge, in the sense that once you're awake and not awoke, and once you see and know what's coming, it's a heavy weight on your psyche, on your mind, on your heart, your spirit, but you are blessed knowing these things. I'm going to go to my other channel shortly, and I'm going to promote this channel, but I wanted a fresh video to get started, and then I will most likely push the very limit of my other channel with all my subscribers. And if I lose that channel, so be it. But that is fine by me. So on this Sabbath, may you be blessed. May you accept the love of Yahushua HaMashiach, Yahweh Adonai, your Creator. May you be at peace and don't let this scare you. Take care, Chris. Take care, Mike. And until we see each other again, I hope this message finds you.